Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Let's Play Mobile Suit Gundam Encounters in Space. Now, today, we will play as the White Wolf, Shin Matsunaga, one of my favorite ace pilots of the Zeon side. Shin's just an overall kind of cool character. You don't see a whole hell of a lot with him in the main storyline whatsoever. This is stuff that was added later on to Gundam, tacked on type of thing. But still, pretty good guy to play as. I generally liked it. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this
Universal Century 0079, January 13th. Shin Matsunaga, having distinguished himself in the one-week battle, joins the operation to capture Side 5. When his commanding officer dies in the skirmish, his superiors see fit to grant him a battlefield promotion to ensign. Here is where the legend of ace pilot Shin Matsunaga begins.
Remember when I told you to get tired of this mission real quick? Well, prepare to go back to Operation British Part 2 again! That's right, we did it with Char the Red Comet, Johnny Raiden the Crimson Lightning, aka not Char, and now we get to go back once again. Oh yeah, we also had the Three Stooges, Gaia, Ortega, and MASH went through this as well. But this time, we actually get to use the Zaku 2 machine gun, which I actually prefer it a lot more than the bazooka for a lot of things. The only thing that it has trouble with is hitting targets that are way the fuck out there just because the projectiles travel so fucking slowly. But it's about the standard thing for it. We get to destroy a crap ton of public and Sabre Fish units using just a normal Zaku 2. There's nothing really special about this unit. It flies about the same as usual. You can burn out the thrust gauge before you actually realize it. So if you're lead foot on that thruster, you're gonna be sorely hurting if you happen to fight anything that's worse than a Sabre Fish. But thankfully, this mission doesn't have anything towards that line.
Honor of the Matsunaga family.
Matter of fact, about the only thing that can do damage to you is the damn missiles off the Salamis cruisers, so you should be okay if you manage to avoid those. Now, if you can, remember to hit the ships. Extra points is always a good thing, especially you think it's like almost, I think it's a couple thousand points per one. So, I'm going to try and concentrate a lot more in this mission for the Sabre Fish and public units, because that's where we're going to get our points from. There's not enough ships to actually destroy to get enough points to get an S rank for it. So this mission can take a little bit of time to do. There's not a whole lot to talk about for this mission. I mean, we've really gone through this a couple of times now. Luckily, we haven't gotten even close to the monotony of Gundam vs. Zeta Gundam with replaying some missions, but it's alright. I'm trying to remember who the voice actor for Shin Matsunaga is, because it sounds really familiar, and I like the voice they have for it. He works out really well. The character is just kind of cool. He doesn't come off as some sort of genocidal madman like most of the good Zeon pilots. Nor does he have some new type ideals or anything like that. Alright, so after a while we get to fight another kind of ace pilot in a Sabre Fish, and I believe this is actually Kojima, I think? I'm not sure if that's him or not. I can never recognize him when he's got his pilot suit helmet on because it just looks so weird. But it looks like he. Anyways, he's just got a shit ton of armor and likes to fly around, so just keep blasting away at him and use your special attack every now and then. You'll make sure to take him down. Nothing special for actually doing it, as far as I'm aware. Can't unlock anything by shooting him down, but after a while he'll just disappear. Probably about 10-15% health left over. Now, one of the things that I really liked about this is that you get to see a lot more of Dozel Zabi in this campaign, which is very nice. I like Dozel's character. Unfortunately, every time we see him, well, he blows up. Big Zom is just a giant target, and we'll come to that eventually here. Thankfully, he also has one of the longer campaigns for Ace Combat Mode. Usually, some of these have been like 1 to 3 missions, it seems like, for these last couple. Just ignore the Magellan when it shows up and take out as many public and Sabre Fish units as you can. That Magellan is slow as hell, and it'll take about 6 or so minutes for it to basically chug across the battlefield to the Do Not Return line. Now, I'm not sure if it's mission over if the Magellan itself makes it over, or if it has to be, I think, 3 ships are the limit, something like that. I've never really let it get that far. Unfortunately, we can't get the extra points off of the Magellan. It just completely blows up. So, oh well. Close up the Musai here.
The Battle of Loom was a victory for the Principality of Zeon, and
Whoopsie.
ended with the capture of General Revel, the Federation commander. But the Zeon forces were exhausted to the point where the next step, a colony drop, was impossible.
Well, there's your problem
Shin
right
Matsunaga's
there.
efforts in this victory were recognized, and he was rewarded with a promotion to ensign.
Why spikes? Why spikes? What purpose could they possibly solve? Alright, so we managed to get the S rank. That's cool.
His actions at Loom do not go unnoticed, and Shin Matsunaga is selected to serve directly under Vice Admiral Dozel. After painting his mobile suit white, he achieves instant fame as the White Wolf. 2 months after the Battle of Loom, the war is at a stalemate, briefly interrupted by skirmishes. At this time, Vice Admiral Dozel visits Luna 2 to observe the site of a battle that took place between his forces and the Federation.
That photo just
Serving
screams
as
that
his
Dozel
escort,
just took a
Shin
massive
Matsunaga
fart,
accompanies him on this inspection.
and he's forcing poor Shin to smell it. Now I want to point out there, that's Shin Matsunaga's mobile suit there on the left side with just the white helm and the white shoulder pad for it. But the one on the right is Dozel Zabi's custom Zaku 2. Now we're going to get a better look of it here in a second when we actually launch, and it's kind of a cool unit. Also, Shin's is one of the only units I've ever seen that actually, you know, for the custom paint job, it was only a small portion of the mobile suit that was actually painted. I mean, look at Char, look at Johnny Raiden. Their entire mobile suit was painted in their color scheme. Later on, that'll change for him, but it was just very interesting for the Zaku 2 to be that way. Look at Dozel's Zaku down there. It looks like a friggin', it looks like a Chaos Knight or a Space Marine from Warhammer.
Shin Matsunaga, I'm taking off.
And it also has a flair for Dozel's love of spikes. Not to mention overcompensation for a gigantic heat
We're
hawk.
almost in the enemy's sights, Your Excellency. Please, be careful.
I've come this far to observe the enemy. There's nothing to worry about if you were here.
Now, remember when I said that Dozel was a real big fan of actually personally inspecting his troops? Well, these frontline inspections on more than one occasion have actually turned into raids, such as this one. And actually, I think that's one of the reasons why Dozel's men adored him so much. He's just, well, one, he's batshit insane, but he was hysterically batshit insane.
You will not beat. He's pretty strong.
For the most part, take out all the Sabre Fish. We still don't have any mobile suits to worry about in this mission. This is real early on in the beginning of the war, so.
Get him.
Matter of fact, I think all we're going to be fighting are public and Sabre Fish units. I don't think there actually is a single gym in sight. Plenty of battleships, though. Now, the thing about this mission that makes it difficult to S-rank is that you have to deal with Dozel Zabi. Not that he's going to get killed. He's actually pretty good about avoiding shit. It's just that he manages to take units out before you can even get close. Because unlike you, he can get out of the sphere of influence. That little cannot cross line where you just get stuck on a wall. So make sure you try and take out all of the cruisers before he can. Or at least injure him pretty good so you can get some points from it. Because if Dozel takes him out, you don't get any points. If you leave him to his own devices, Dozel will just go to town on the enemy forces, and you really won't have much to deal with. See here, I'm right in front of this Solomon class ship, and I can't actually lock onto it because it's technically out of my sphere of influence until it slowly crosses that line. Watch out for those missiles; it can really fuck you up.
You will not beat me.
Now, the Zaku 2 machine gun is really good for taking out some of the turrets that are actually on these ships. So that comes in handy, unlike the bazooka, which seems to blow up before it actually hits the target box. So use that to your advantage. The only problem is that it takes so many shots to actually kill a ship with this thing, and it almost makes it annoyingly tedious.
It's here.
No, Fishbowl Man saw us. Take him out. I'm pretty sure the Magellan is our last target, so make sure you take out everything that it's not the Magellan. That way you can max your score there. I think here soon Dozel's going to steal one of these kills from me. I think it was actually, may have been that one. Can't remember now. Anyways, Magellan is just a giant gun platform, which means it has plenty of targets to take out. Feel free. There's Dozel still flying around like a madman.
Let's go.
No, I think a really good actor that I would love to have seen play Dozel in like a live-action Gundam. And this is, I know, kind of taboo for a lot of people to even speak of a live-action Gundam. But if he was still alive and he could seriously like bulk up, wear stilts, something like that, I would love to have seen Raul Julia play Dozel Zabi. Just because after seeing his freaking amazing role as M. Bison in Street Fighter the movie, which is a really campy movie that has kind of a cult following for it, but Bison, or Raul Julia's character, was probably the best one out of the entire film. And unfortunately, I think that was his last film before he died. But I think he'd make a pretty cool Dozel Zabi. Oh yeah, make sure to kill off the corpse. And that should be basically the end of the mission there. I just toss grenades into the empty shell. See? He seriously looks like a space marine.
As warriors battling side by side, they respected each other's pride and courage. But there was more to it than that. For Dozel trusted Shin with his life, and in return, Shin admired Dozel as if he were an older brother.
That Heat Hawk. He's seriously compensating for something. Anyways, one of the things I like about Dozel's unit is it actually, I think it's unlockable. And it may be unlockable by, I think it's S ranking all of Shin Matsunaga's stages, I think. I'm not entirely certain on that.
For his actions during Dozel's visit to Luna 2, Shin Matsunaga is promoted to lieutenant and given command of Solomon's main air defense unit. He also replaces his mobile suit with the latest high-mobility type Zaku 06R1A. This new white mobile suit will terrorize the Federation forces. Soon, another Federation fleet arrives at Solomon, destined to become another victim of the White Wolf.
I really do like his color scheme for the Zaku 2 high mobility type. It's not, you know, that pure one color scheme. It actually has another off tone that works really well with it. And I definitely think it presents that whole White Wolf color persona for it. So it's really nice. Now, this unit, we do get to pilot it. It is extremely fast. It does have kind of some drawbacks, again, that we're still using the Zaku 2 machine gun. It really doesn't have a huge amount of attack upgrade, even though we're using technically a different unit or a better unit itself. But it still seems to handle just the same way as the original Zaku 2's machine gun did. Now, unfortunately, the color scheme to me doesn't translate over as well
Shin Matsunaga, I'm taking off.
for the in-game model, whereas like parts of the chest, the skirt armor, things like that were that kind of like matte gray, almost with a blue color to it. This is almost just a complete gray color. Not a big fan of that. I wish they had actually added in some of those secondary colors, but maybe they had some sort of limitation for what the units could actually be colored, or they probably just didn't give a shit, more likely than that. But still, I'm happy to pilot this mobile suit and happy to play this mission. So we're going to start this off taking a bunch of Sabre Fish on while guarding our little Musai friend back there. I don't think it is a game over if he blows up, but it's better that we don't let him die. Take out the Sabre Fish as soon as they appear, because most of them do have missiles that can do quite a bit of damage to the Musai if you're not careful.
This angle.
Yeah, see there? That's what I'm talking about. Since the public units that continuously rush through here, which they won't attack you or the Musai, they're really difficult to actually hit with Zaku 2 machine guns, so I wouldn't even bother with it. And the Knucklecracker isn't fast enough to catch up with them. So really your main choices are taking out Solomon's class cruisers and Sabre Fish.
Let's go.
This mission really doesn't last for a whole lot of time. I think you can probably max it in about 5 minutes depending on your speed for it. Thankfully, the thrust gauge allows you to cover this large arena pretty quickly here, but you can max it a lot of times if you're not careful for it, especially when you're trying to dodge some of the Solomon's bullshit rocket barrages.
Right there.
Still would have been interesting if Dozel Zabi had actually survived, especially considering some of the events that take place in Gundam Unicorn, what with his daughter there and things like that. just to see what Dulza would have become. I feel like he would have been that one zombie family member who would have probably been the one to survive them all. And he would have been the guy who actually would sign the treaty and then lead Zeon into something that's not total and utter insanity via Garen or Cassilia.
Let's go.
Now, for the Zaku 2 high mobility type, it is just a normal machine gun blast. When you use the special attack, it's just much more powerful, and it's nowhere near as focused. So we get to actually fight the gem now. It's just a normal gem, and occasionally it'll have ball support. So don't worry too much about them. Their shields are really easy to actually destroy, so it's always handy to have an additional 1,000 points per mobile suit kill. So what I used to do actually as a kid, I would blow up their shield and then boost in real quick and finish them off with melee combat because they're still stunned, but they're not out of luck technically. Yeah, you should have no problem completing this mission without losing half health. They're not that good at firing. They miss a lot of the time. They're too busy trying to hit you with their Vulcans for whatever reason. Not to mention that poor, pathetic stun they actually get when the shield breaks. Now, using the spam attack to shoot multiple bullet clips, I guess would be the best term for it, off, but it does leave you extremely vulnerable. You can't block, and your shield does not actually work at that point in time. So I wouldn't actually recommend using it too much. Just spam the hell out of the regular fire button, and you'll be perfectly fine. The friggin' thing reloads so damn quick that you don't really have to worry about it. And when you're bored, use some of the knuckle crackers. About 1 or 2 usually take the shield out. Maybe if you're lucky, 1 will actually cripple the shield completely. But it's about the only time that I make use of the knuckle cracker. It doesn't really see a whole lot of anything after that point.
I'll take you down.
Now, so far what we've seen is kind of easy for Shin's missions. I mean, for the most part, we've just gone through the Battle of Britain again, which is real pathetically easy at some points. We fought alongside Dozo Zabi, who, well, took care of everything like a one-man goddamn wrecking crew.
Right there.
And now here we are fighting a bunch of Sabre Fish and then barely competent gem pilots. Now, it's the next mission that we're going to have fun with. That's when the difficulty curve for Shin Matsunaga's fights really escalate. I think we're just about done here. I don't know why it continuously counts those as enemy units, but you cannot even catch them. You have to be right on top of them to catch them. Once we've cleared off most of the Sabre Fish and the gems, we should see a return of a couple of cruiser units here. I believe the Magellan is, as usual, our target. We'll take out the Salamis first, just in case it constitutes a game over or a mission complete.
Let's go. Never forget the name. Wait,
Fall back. Fall back.
There we go. Yeah, that's what I thought.
No further enemy activity.
Roger that. Please return.
I do like the high mobility F-type. It's nice, but I do like it when they actually covered up the booster units on the sides. I think it was Johnny Ryden's unit that did that.
At Solomon, Shin Matsunaga was nothing less than brilliant against the enemy, and was honored with the appropriate heroic name, the White Wolf. But when the war returned to space in December of Universal Century 0079, he found himself involved in an uncanny conspiracy.
And that's right, folks. This is technically the end of his actual canonical storyline, as far as I can tell for it. He was supposedly never at the final battle of Solomon, so...
Shin Matsunaga receives orders to return to the Zeon homeland, ostensibly to accept a new model mobile suit. But the orders come at a time when rumors of a Federation force advancing on Solomon seem more like reality than fiction. Discerning the orders too politically motivated, Shin Matsunaga refuses, citing an illness, and remains at Solomon. And indeed, the Federation's operation to capture Solomon is soon fully underway. As a fleet led by Tianum advances on Solomon, the solar system fires, scorching the fortress and the surrounding Zeon forces. The last line of defense is anchored by Shin Matsunaga's air defense unit.
Alright, so this is the first of the what-if stages for Shin Matsunaga. Like I said before, he technically was never at the final Battle of Solomon. I can't remember the exact reason, but I think it had to do with some sort of medical reason that he was actually out of this fight. And for the most part, his battles in the One-Year War technically ended with the last mission. I do believe, according to, I think, is it Garen's Greed? One of those games, I think. He actually does become a pilot for the AU forces during Zeta, but other than that, I don't think he has a whole lot of written material for him past this point. But anyways, we actually get to play along with this and go back to Solomon for the final battle. I like to see how they actually loaded this thing. It was kind of cool.
Matsunaga, launching in 06R.
Unfortunately for us, we don't get any sort of upgrade whatsoever. We are stuck with a high mobility type. Now, while it was really good, the last mission, we're going to see the limits of this mobile suit for this mission itself. Okay, for this mission, we have one big problem. The entire time we have to defend this fucking Musai. It is a beached land whale that is attempting to escape from Solomon, and it will try and take you with it in a fiery explosion. No, it's actually just trying to escape, and we have to make sure it doesn't get blown up, basically. So it's a giant escort mission. Don't do what I'm doing here. Don't take on all the mobile suits first and then take on the Salamas. Take out the Salamas first because of the missile barrage. Those will take out that Musai very quick. The next big target to go after would surprisingly actually be the ball mobile armor types, just because they have a physical type cannon. The gems are going to be too busy trying to shoot you out of the sky to really give two shits. But take out those ball units and you should be a lot better off.
Right there. Do not be ashamed of these lost to me.
This is all going to be a really good mission to test your dodging capabilities, because the pink laser beams from the gems are pretty easy to dodge. They really show up. However, the physical shell-type weapons that the ball unit packs is not so much. It's like fighting the original DOMs again, all over again. That was a special attack there from the Zakutu machine gun. As I showed there, it was not very accurate. You got to be damn close for it to actually take some good accuracy for it. This is about the point where I realized I should probably be taking on the Salamis and not the enemy troops off the bat. Now, unfortunately, we do not get any help whatsoever for the most part. I think there was one support we had earlier. You can take him if you want. If you're having a lot of trouble with this map, definitely go for it. But if you can manage to just dodge a lot of these cannon shells, you'll be okay for the most part. However, this is actually a two-part mission. This is only part A. Now, unfortunately for us, we don't get any sort of health refill when we switch over to part B, which is kind of dickish on their the developers' part. But with the amount of mobile suits here, we really shouldn't have to worry a whole hell of a lot about padding our score or running out of enemies because we did a retry. So long as you actually take out everything that appears on screen and the Musai doesn't blow up, you should be just fine. But there are a hell of a lot of these units.
Right there.
I'm trying to think of what the actual attack power from that mobile suit is, from the gem itself. Can't remember what the generator output was either.
What's wrong with the shield?
I know it was nowhere near Gundam standards, but god damn, there are an awful lot of these mobile suits on the screen at any one time.
Right there.
If you annoy them enough, they'll start to come after you almost completely by themselves, and will leave the Musai off to its own little thing.
Let's go.
Thankfully, we're not finding anything like a ball K type or anything with machine guns, because that would be an even bigger pain in the ass.
Right there. Right there.
As you can see, my health is going down a lot here. this mission is just a giant gauntlet of fuck all of this. And it gets much better. This is probably one of the most difficult missions to do with the given mobile suit equipment for it. At least I find it that way.
Ship's controls. We're going down.
Alright, as you can tell from the moose-sized little bitch fest there, it's actually getting real close to death. But luckily we finished off that part A and on to part B.
I'll take over here. White Wolf, withdraw.
Your Excellency, I have remained on Solomon for this very moment. I will stay with you until the end.
You know what? Memory.
I
I keep remembering that I think the spray gun for the gym is actually an ECAP system.
Your Excellency, I've remained on Solomon for this.
Kind of similar to what the ARC-78 was going for, instead of being directly tied into the generator itself. Anyways, part 2 of this mission, we actually get to pilot alongside Big Zom for a change. And for the most part, he's going to be the focus of every enemy attack out there, so make sure to take good advantage of it and destroy as much as possible. Dozlo again will try and destroy anything he gets in his path. Now, I don't know if you can actually destroy that Solomon. You can lock onto it, but I'm not sure if you can actually destroy it before Big Zom gets around to it.
Right there.
The first little portion of Part B is real simple and easy to take care of. You just got a bunch of gems to take care of, and they're not even custom models either.
Withdraw. You are a commander. Save as many of them as possible.
Yes, sir. Not.
And this mission really does illustrate how kind of a cool guy Dozlo was. And I'm not the biggest Xeon fan in the world. Matter of fact, I'm not a big fan of either Federation or the Xeon forces for the most part. They kind of have their good points and their bad aside from each one. Anyways, about halfway through this, we're actually going to see Armro and Slugger Law show up.
Right there.
For those of you who've seen earlier portions of this episode or of this Let's Play and then the previous ones I've done, kind of have a good idea of what's about to happen here.
You will not beat me. You will not defeat me.
Man, they are wailing on Big Zom there, and he's just taking it.
Ah!
Your Excellency.
And there he goes. All right, so here comes the dickish part of this mission itself. We get to fight Armro along with ever-reoccurring reinforcements, mostly ball unit types. I'm still annoying. I'm about to get my ass kicked. Yeah.
Damn.
He is an absolute pain in the ass to fight. So there's my first real retry, I think. But that's okay. I think the developers knew that this is actually going to be really big pain in the ass mission. So, to that regard, if you had destroyed everything you could possibly destroy up until this point, you should have more than enough, even with that lack of, or that one retry under your belt, to actually get an S rank for this mission. So you should be okay. This mission is incredibly difficult to one-shot without retrying. If you can do it, more power to you. I don't actually have the ability to do it. That and I drink a little bit too much when I start recording these.
Roger.
So for the most part, we just get to go through this again. I probably could have just cut this out and gone right back up to when Armro decides to make me public enemy #1, but fuck it.
Right there.
I like watching Big Zom clear house.
I'll take over here.
It's entertaining because he's not shooting me out of the sky with that fucking particle cannon.
You are a commander. Save as many of them as possible.
Yes, sir. Not let your Excellency's cause be thrown away. Good luck. Right there.
Now, when I first played this game, I thought that with this what-if scenario at Solomon, you'd kind of redo what happened with Armoro's route, where you actually got to fight the White Wolf over those two Solomon-class cruisers. But no luck there, unfortunately.
Right there.
Things are just getting started. There, take that. You're asking for it.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too much longer. Big Zom should go poof.
Not beat me. You will not defeat me.
It's amazing how none of these mobile suits or mobile armors have any sort of weight to them when one mobile suit can bum rush Big Zom and push it back quite a distance.
Who's in it?
So, I wouldn't recommend doing what I'm doing there and taking the reinforcements because they do just keep showing up. Armro is your primary target. Engage him at close range. That beam cannon of his will actually, or beam rifle of his will take out your health quicker than you can even hope to dodge. So don't even bother. Fortunately for us, our shield is actually taking quite a bit of the damage here, despite its weird placement. But keep going in for a 3/strike combo and then barrel roll out of there, rinse, repeat. You should be just fine. Once you get him below half health, he should just screw off for a while, and then that's the end of it. I suppose if you don't mess around at all once Big Zom just destroyed, and even if you have low health and just go blitzkrieg straight at Armor, you might be able to survive this in one round for it. But having to deal with all these extra units right after the fact is a real big pain in the ass.
Right there.
Now usually our extra score is about 30,000 or so, thanks to no retries. Since we only have one, it's somewhere around 25, I think, maybe a little higher. It's still a lot of extra bonus points there. It only really starts to go down a lot when you have 2 retries and up.
Right there.
I'd almost think the gym would be more effective if it had the 90mm machine gun. At least that's clip fed. Alright, that should be the end of that mission there. There's our Musai that we protected. It still hasn't gotten anywhere out of the battlefield. Nice of it. Take advantage of us.
Determined to carry out Dozel's dying wish, Shin Matsunaga, with a band of soldiers who had also survived Solomon, swore to take revenge at Abawa-ku.
Yep, see, even with that retry there, I had 23,000 points, or for bonus points there. Managed to get an S rank, so don't be afraid to use that if it actually comes to it.
The space fortress Abawa-ku is the largest and the last defense point for the Principality of Zeon. Despite the loss of General Rebel and a third of their fleet from the Solar Ray, the Federation operation to take Abawa-ku commences. The stage is set for the last great battle of the One-Year War. Eager to avenge his humiliation at Solomon, Shin Matsunaga awaits the battle in the latest mobile suit, the Gelgoog Jaeger. Who will survive this final struggle?
All right, final battle. All cards on the table, and we get to pilot what is probably my favorite Gelgoog type. It is the MS-14 JG or Gelgoog J type. And it is the Shin Matsunaga custom version of it. There's only one thing I don't like about this mobile suit, and that would be the rifle it has. It has a beam smart gun, like a large beam. It's basically a beam machine gun. It isn't very accurate. This is actually really cool how it shows this launching. It actually has a tow cable attached to its ass end. So it'll eventually start thrust, get up to speed, and then it releases the tow cable.
Shin Matsunaga, I'm taking off.
Considering it's probably too big to actually use the catapult for it.
We're going to avenge Vice Admiral Dozel's death.
Now, you notice that there's actually these little wings on the back end of that. Those aren't weapons of any type. Those, as far as I know, are actually propellant tanks. Because the amount of thrust that this mobile suit is actually capable of putting out is so much that the normal fuel size for a Gelgoog just wouldn't have cut it. So they actually had to increase the amount of fuel that it could hold at once. Now, this is the beam smart gun, or the beam machine gun. It really does do good against cruisers in close range, but long range it can be kind of annoying just because the shots spread out too much.
I've heard about you.
Red Notice. You must be the Crimson Lightning. Lieutenant Johnny Wright.
I just wanted to be quiet there so you guys could hear that. Shin is probably the only character who actually recognizes Johnny Ryden off the bat and doesn't call him the Red Comet. I thought it would be really cool if you could pilot alongside him, and sure enough, here we go. He'll just kind of, I think he just appears in the outskirts of the battle, so you don't have too much to get out of this. We're going to be fighting a hell of a lot of mobile suits here. Most of them are going to be custom units, such as the Command and Jim Sniper. The Sniper is the unit that we really have to be careful for, and as you'll see, that something just starts to destroy my armor later on in this portion of the video, and that's exactly what it are those Jim Snipers.
Right there.
Unfortunately, this mission doesn't really have a definitive end. I believe the closest you can get is... you know, I can't remember now. I only recorded this yesterday. I think I'd remember a little bit more about it.
Right there.
Oh, you know, getting a closer look at those RGM-79SP, those are actually a Sniper 2, I think. The color scheme looks too different from a Sniper 1. I'll have to look that up in gallery later on to see if that's actually a Sniper 1 or a Sniper 2. Because Sniper 1s, I think, were just ground-based.
Right there.
You can always tell a GM Sniper thanks to that little custom faceplate it's got there with the extra sensors and that face visor. That and the definitive blue color scheme versus the standard orange and tan or red and white.
You're pretty skilled, especially if you chose to meet this one.
Another unique thing for the Gelgo Jaeger that I like is that it's actually one of the first Zeon mobile suits to actually make use of a straight beam saber instead of some weird battle axe or Nagata or anything like that. It's actually a beam saber. The secondary weapon here, which I haven't explained a whole lot and I'm using quite a bit, is actually a wrist-mounted machine gun or Vulcan cannon. I can't remember which one it is.
Matsunaga, we are withdrawing from this area. Please come back.
Oh, so there is actually a definitive end for it. As you can see, my armor got shredded. That was the gem sniper. It just absolutely fucking me up. You cannot see that shell to dodge it worth a shit.
Take care of Lady Zena and Princess Minerva.
All in all, like the Jaeger, it's a good mobile
It is
suit.
unknown whether or not Shin Matsunaga survived the Battle of Abawaku. But one thing is certain. The name the White Wolf is synonymous with honor, and it shall live on in the memories of friends and foes alike.
I'm pretty sure in the what if canon, or the what if scenario, he does survive. Anyways, that's it for Shin Matsunaga. All 5 stages complete for it. And when we show up next time, we'll actually start off with, I think, Ko Uraki. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to seeing some new mobile suits other than 1 Year War. So folks, until then, see you later.